Welcome everyone to another episode of the Author Spotlight. You know, the show that brings on the change agents, the thought leaders, the planet shakers. I'm so excited to have for us today a real treat, a real treat. This is a gentleman, yes. This is a gentleman that will guide you and teach you how to transition. You might say, Darren, how can you say that? I'm gonna do you like the old show. I think it was called Coming to America, where the man was in the barbershop and he said, aha. I have the man himself. This is informal. This is why we have you behind the scenes with thought leaders and change agents and planet shakers. Daron K. Roberts is one that you know. You hear how informal that was. My phone went out. But anyway, Daron K. Roberts is a great individual. He will show you how to do it. This man he's went to Harvard Law and did his thing there. Came from the University of Texas before going there. Made the transition from law to being an NFL coach and also doing an excellent job on the collegiate level as well. Also maintaining and having a family life by being a husband, and being a great father, adulting father, and also giving back to his community, doing things like what some people don't want to do it. Some people don't want to address the issue. We didn't have, because we came from the same area, we didn't have boys and girls clubs. So he created the 4th and 1 camp, where it's able to empower young kids and give them an advantage, where it be learning how to grow and elevate the SAT and ACT scores, understanding how to deal with social media issues. For those of you who are paying any kind of attention to anything going on in the NFL, the NBA, college basketball, whether it's the coaches, whether it's the trainers, it doesn't matter who it is, the president of the school, the AD, we're suffering with issues with social media, so he can guide you with that as well. But I'm gonna get out the way. I want to bring on Darren in his own way. Darren, I shared a little bit about your bio, not everything about it. Also, you are the best-selling author of this book. I got my book. I got to get yours. Call an Audible. Let my pivot from Harvard Law to NFL coach inspire your transition. Darren, I didn't share everything about you, but man, could you fill in any of the gaps to our guest on the Author Spotlight?
No, Darren, thanks for having me. I mean, you hit the highlights. Definitely one thing I want to say is that, you've had a history of helping people tell their story, get that thing that's in their head on the paper and out into the world. So I'm glad to be able to join with your followers and your family to talk about this process of book writing. When I grew up in East Texas, I wanted to be governor of Texas. Everything I did from education on was aimed at that goal. So I went to Harvard Law School, went to the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard. And then I worked a football camp and realized that I really wanted to coach. For me, I saw the influence. And you and I played football back in Mount Pleasant High School, fighting Tigers.
That's it.
We saw how influential some of those coaches were in our lives. And I realized that coaching was a form of public service. Now, I was 27, wasn't married, didn't have any kids, and I decided to take a gamble, wrote a letter to every team in the NFL, got 31 rejections. Herm Edwards with the Kansas City Chiefs told me yes. I interned with the Chiefs. Next year, he hired me on full-time, and that led to 7 years as an NFL and college coach. Today, though, I've transitioned into being the founding director of the Center for Sports Leadership Innovation. We help athletes and coaches realize their leadership potential. So instead of just bemoaning the fact that they lack social media branding skills or communication skills, we put them through intensive training to help them get to that point. So I'm excited to be joining the family. Thank you for giving me this honor and looking forward to the discussion.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darren. Darren, when you bring up the transition, I know it's a lot of people out there that's wondering, and just let me be frank. What the hell is wrong with this boy? He's going to leave from Harvard to go be a coach. So some of those who hear that, they hear the NFL stuff and all that right there. I want you to share, because this is behind the scenes. I want you to share with them what that meant. Let's talk about the pay for one thing. Let's cut through all the esoteric stuff. Let's get to the actual pain point of what you would have been compensated, what some of your peers and colleagues were being compensated, and what were happening for them being partners and all that, while you enjoyed the great smell of must and changing clothes out for funky athletes. Could you share a little bit more in detail about that?
I'll even back up before that, Darren. I'll tell you this. 5 years at Harvard, $50,000 per year. So I know you got some folks on the show who are mathematicians. That's $250,000 in debt. Now that was in my name. My parents didn't take the loans out. That was in Daron K. Roberts' name. That's what was staring me in the face leaving Harvard Law School. I had offers from firms in Houston that were worth around 130, 140K per year. Okay. I had classmates going to work for, God rest his soul, Justice Scalia and Rehnquist, and going to the White House and going to Google, you name it. But here's one thing I know. This is one thing I want to say to all of you listening. You don't know when you're going to die. That for me is a starting point. Now,
come on now.
People are like, well, I'm going to do this, and then next year I'm going to do that, and I'm going to start this in 5 years. Listen, I had a good friend, a radio personality here in Austin, Sean Adams, 46 years old, ran track, picture of health, dies of a heart attack, right? So I don't know when I'm going to die. My thing is this. They tell me what you're going to retire and do. You don't need to go ahead and think about, I'm going to retire and write the book. I'm going to retire and do this job. Do it today because you don't know when you're going to leave. That's what prompted me to go ahead and pull the trigger and make that move to the NFL.
Wow. And I mean, Darren, did you ever have moments? Because, see, some people are looking like, wow, man, this guy, he's the founder of this great organization at University of Texas. He's been in law. He's done this. He's done that. But could you share with them about those moments where you might have wondered or you had to find encouragement because the whispers in your ear, the other side of you, or what people were saying when you kind of just thought to yourself, did I make the right move? Could you share that moment and how you overcame that moment?
Yeah, so I tell people, if you're not questioning whether or not you made the right move, you made the wrong move.
Woo!
If you're so comfortable that you don't even question whether or not this is right for you, something's wrong. And I think most people are going through the cruise lane. They pulled over to that right lane. They just coasting. Yeah. For me, I had to buy a blow-up mattress, Coleman, blew that thing up.
Wow.
I slept at Arrowhead Stadium most nights because I didn't want to be the second person in the building or the fifth person. For me, working for free, trying to get on, I need to be the first person in the building, period. I don't care, sickness, food poison, whatever, tired, whatever it is, I need to be the first face that Coach Herm Edwards saw when he walked in the building. So that meant I couldn't afford to make that hour commute to my little old basement unit I had in downtown Kansas City. I slept at Arrowhead most of those nights.
Wow.
So many nights I slept on that mattress, looking up at the ceiling thinking, man, I'm a Harvard Law grad. You start feeling good about, man, I could be making $125,000. But here's the key. Where I wanted to go, none had any value. Ooh. Nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cared. So my Harvard Law degree wasn't going to help the secondary get more interceptions. Right? They wanted to see me put in work on football. It's great you went to Harvard, but can you put in work on football? So folks out there, I'm going to tell you straight up, a couple things. One, if you're the kind of person that just keeps putting things off, Darren Palmer is not the guy for you because he's going to try to force you to go ahead and say, look, let's put all that future stuff into the present tense.
That's it.
That's the way we live. We're trying to make things happen today.
Wow, man. Thank you so much for sharing that, Darren. That's a lot on somebody's mind. And why did I bring it up? Why did I ask Daron K. Roberts about this? I asked Coach DKR about that situation because a lot of you are going through a time. I like to go to the great philosopher, former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, who said, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. Daron K. Roberts got hit in the mouth. And so his was making that transition and thinking about, you know what, did I make the right decision? I could be making so much more right now. I could be at the Four Seasons right now, and yet and still I'm sleeping at Arrowhead Stadium. I could be on a company budget going somewhere and having an allowance. But no, I'm dealing with where I am right now in this situation, hoping that I have a job because he wasn't guaranteed a job at first. Hoping he could have went where was the for sure, let's use my Southern vernacular, the for show money, but he chose to go another route. And so I bring this to each and every one of you who are listening in and viewing this. Are you going to get up after the divorce? Are you going to get up after you realize, you know what, I can't find my ideal job? And you know what, I got a lot of I got a lot of debt that owed from being in debt from college. It doesn't matter where you are in life. Coach DKR is giving us an understanding of you must be resilient. You must be able to persevere and overcome those extraordinary obstacles if you're going to obtain your goal. So say, for instance, I know that you love Southern California, but what if your ideal job is going to get you closer to who you should be and fulfill your potential is in Boise, Idaho?
Yeah. Decision point, and that's where most people say, let me stay comfortable.
You must be willing to take out the dagger. You know, we're from the great state of Texas. You might be willing to pull out your pistol, and you must kill the comfort zone. You must kill the comfort zone. And this is what Coach DKR did. He killed the comfort zone because he wasn't making the commute 45 minutes to an hour, because he knew that his destiny to be an NFL coach was caught up on his perception, because perception is reality. What is Coach Herm Edwards going to think when he come in and he see this young guy still there earlier than he is, still showing up, still taking a beat? And so there, on that note, calling Audible, could you share with your extensive background, whether it was from political science to you think you're going to be governor to law, all the various that you've traveled to so many continents, why in the world did you write this book, Calling Audible?
Yeah, you know, for me, I realized that I had I was fortunate to have some stories written on me, but I hadn't written my own story. So there were bits and pieces floating around about me. I said, let me take the chance to write my own story. I was there, right? I was there. And it's going to have value. I think a lot of people will go ahead mentally, they'll start deflating the potential impact their book can have because, oh, well, people won't want to read it. Oh, well, I don't have a good introduction. Or, oh, well, forget all that. There are so many people who need help through your narrative, and that's what I determined. So I said, look, I'm going to write for 8 months, 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, period. Same place, same time. And knocked it out. And really, you know, I think about that process. The book is about my transition from Harvard Law to my first contract with the Chiefs after I volunteered. And thinking back on the writing process, having a team around you that can help you with the process. I had an editorial assistant who would meet with me every Friday at Whole Foods here in Austin. Look over my draft. Hey, this is not good. You're better than this. Hey, keep this language. This is nice. Hey, stop editing your book in real time. Just write. Getting coached through the process as a former coach, I really value that. And that's why I think a service like what you provide, Darren, really helps people, because you're wrapping around all the services they need in order to put their book into the marketplace.
Awesome. And you know, that's so important. I like what you shared there. I like to use the analogy, just because I know how to change the oil, no, just because I can check the oil on my vehicle don't mean that I know how to fix the engine. And some people just think because they know how to write and they can say, oh, I wrote about this topic, so that's a chapter. It's more to the book process than that. And that's why you have so many people end up not getting the book done, or when they get it done, it's not what they thought it would be because the shortcuts they took and they didn't get a team surrounding them. So you totally agree with that, Darren? Absolutely.
I mean, listen, the book writing process isn't super complicated, but you can't do it on your own. So, and here's the thing, the time you're going to waste trying to do it on your own, you could be spending getting the book out, marketing it, sharing with other people, right? So I'm all about efficiency. And if people are experts on the process, hire them to help you get to the final goal, because what you care about is getting this book into the hands of people who need to hear your message.
That's it.
The more time you spend trying to learn the process, the less time you have to get this book into the hands of people who need to hear your message.
And speaking of people who need to hear your message, Darren, can you share what has been some of your experiences since you gotten the book out? How has your life changed? What have you got back? What kind of feedback have you gotten about calling Audible?
Yeah, so for example, I had a guy who was wanting to get into coaching, had read my story before the book, got my book, did the same thing, wrote about 20 college programs, got on as an intern. And he just emailed me 2 weeks ago and said, hey, man, I'm finally getting a chance to work the home game. So what he was saying was he's now on the sidelines helping out at home games. He said, man, I really appreciate your book because you had a chapter about just get in the building. Yes. Don't worry about getting all, as we call it, East Texas, cute and sophisticated. Get in the building, show you have value, then you'll start to elevate. Don't get in there and start asking the manager and the athletic director on day one. You get in there and hang out by the copy machine and be quiet. You know what I'm saying? You got to start there. So stories like that, an email, a random letter that I got from a woman out in California. She was thinking about, she's been a writer for so long, a journalist, but she wants to be a chef. She sends me a note saying, hey, I got your book. I got passed along to me from a good friend of mine. I'm going to start culinary school in a couple of months. I appreciate the message.
Wow.
Dude, that's just the beauty, right? Of I don't know these people. I've never seen them. We've never talked personally. But one book can go around the world several times and people can change their lives based on your message.
And speaking of that, Darren, as far as changing the world, what about the legacy piece with your family? How do you feel about that aspect of it?
Yeah. So my son's 7 years old. My son read the book, and he said, "I remember, he got a copy. I gave him a copy, one of the first copies, and he would have it at night. And I remember him saying the first thing when he saw the cover, he saw my name. He said, 'That's your name.'" And I thought, wow, right? This is a kid that's getting library books all the time, but to see his dad's name on the front of a book was a new experience. I want my children to know that they can be innovators, they can be entrepreneurs, they can be writers because I've done that. If you're a writer, you're an entrepreneur, right? Like I think sometimes we tend to kind of glamorize the entrepreneurial life, but if you write something, if you create something out of thin air and put it into a physical form, you're an innovator, you're an inventor, you're an entrepreneur. So take that desire to want to create that book and really magnify it and say, hey, this can have a good impact on not just people around me, people in my family, and set the new benchmark for those around you, especially the ones in your family.
Whoa, man. I mean, I know that I can only imagine that feeling, like you said, with your son coming in there. And I mean, what about you, those who are paying attention and listening to this? Where do you want to change the trajectory for your family for years to come? Are you setting the new benchmarks? Are you setting the standards? Are you setting trends? Are you trailblazing to create a new paradigm for your family? That you know what? That we don't have to just fit into this career set, or well, all of us are doctors, or all of us are drinkers in the wrong kind of one. But the thing is, you can set a new paradigm. You can create a shift. You can make your whole family transition and understand that, you know what? Now, what does it mean for his 7-year-old son now? Oh man, that's nothing. My dad was an author. I mean, I know I got a book in me. I know I got a book in me. My dad did it. So I come from the same cloth he was cut from. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. So he knows that he can do it, and that's going to set the bar up higher. It's going to make for the rest of the siblings think higher and bigger as well, but grander thoughts, because they know if dad can do it, wow, I can at least set my goals up higher, that I can do it, compared to a kid who's never seen a book before, Harley, and don't even probably know who their dad is, but then be able to say, not only do I know my dad, but I'm able to have the book done. So Darren, if you could just share with us, because we shared a little bit on here, but could you share with the audience where they can find out more information about you if they need some of your services? Because I know a lot of people are going to ask this, and if you don't mind Before we let you go, we thank you for taking time out your schedule. Please let us know where they can find you and different services that you offer.
Yeah, so first, again, thank you. It's an honor. I know that you have a long list of authors that could make the cut, so I appreciate you really featuring me on the Author Spotlight.
No doubt.
If you want to get in contact with me, people out there, a couple of ways. One, CoachDKR.com. So you'll get a chance to see stories about my background, but also what I'm doing now. So right now, I help individuals, companies, and organizations increase their leadership potential. So I work with teams, whether it be 5 or 500, whether it's through a keynote or through coaching. I help individuals become better leaders. So if you're looking for someone to help your organization or even you personally through coaching become better as a leader, then feel free to contact me. On all social media channels, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Coach DKR. Give me a follow. I follow back. Would love to engage with you. Also, check me out on Facebook and LinkedIn, Daron K. Roberts. So you can find me on those channels as well. And also, I know we didn't talk about this, but if you don't mind, I'd love to run a little giveaway with folks in the audience and in the family. You
no doubt. You know, we love gifts.
Okay, so you got the book up. I'll hold it up here again. This is called an Audible. I would love to I'm going to give away 3 copies, okay?
Wow.
The Author Spotlight family. Here's all you have to do now, okay? Step 1.
Okay.
Follow Coach DKR on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Not Twitter. Don't try to pull any technicalities. Step 1, follow Coach DKR on Instagram. All right? Step 2, I want you to go to any of my posts, like it, and then hashtag in the comments, Author Spotlight. So like, hashtag Author Spotlight. Once you do that, I'll reach out to you through direct message, get your address. The first 3 people to do it, I will send them a signed copy of Call an Audible, and I'm looking forward to being able to give that gift to members of your family.
Wow. Thank you. Hey, you heard the information. We will make sure that we put it in the show notes so you can take full advantage of that. Also, if you know out there, for those, we have people from various places in different positions, but if you are a programmer, event programmer, if you, student advisor, it doesn't matter who you are. If you are a part of a corporation, you know your team needs leadership. You know that they need to increase their sales. They need to think differently to be able to get different results. Do not hesitate. Make sure you give Coach DKR call. Make sure you reach out through email, reach out to a member of his team, and make sure that you have him come in and guide and strengthen and empower your organization so they can have record numbers, whether that's an impact for us a nonprofit and you touching more lives, whether it be trying to have more sales. It doesn't matter where you're from or who you are. Coach DKR can get you where you need to go and transition from average to extraordinary. So
one last thing, you know what, Darren, you just remind me, for those of you who you talked about, because I'm doing a lot of work and I've got some room for some clients and some room for some really, now this is, and I know you run your coaching the same way. This is no BS, get to the heart of the matter coaching. So it's kind of like, I know if this is for me, then it's probably not for you. But if you're ready to go to the next level, then definitely just send me an email, coachdkr@coachdkr.com. We can talk about some of that coaching, and we can kind of work through and see if this is maybe the right fit for you in terms of having a leadership executive coach.
Exactly. And I just want to plug this in. Just like the gentleman who's on the field now, it's time for a lot of you to get in the game. So a lot of you have rolled the pine long enough. A lot of you have stayed on the sidelines long enough. A lot of you have been couch potatoes long enough. And I'm not just saying you can be in the best shape of your life, but for as your dreams, you have laid on the sideline. Okay, I know you got some good money coming in and you're doing good and you got your little salary, but it's something calling you to do greater things and to step outside the box. So this is your opportunity to connect with Coach DKR and make that move. Or if you're that gentleman who's thinking to yourself, I want to make it. This is a guy right here he was an NFL coach. He coached the collegiate level. I mean, he coached the Big 12 and all that. I mean, so the thing that you want to do is make sure you take advantage with people who have been where you're trying to go. It's common sense. I know we're just some Texas boys. I know we might not know what we're talking about, but you might just want to follow, because success leaves clues. And if this individual has walked the steps that you want to walk, or if you want, let's use this, if you want to walk in his boots, you know, I'm sorry, I had to throw a little Texas plug in. If you want to walk in his boots, then you might want to find out from the source how he got there and how he did it. So definitely thank you for that. Now, Darren, before you leave here and you go back to your busy schedule, could you share to that individual out there who's thinking about sharing their story with the world, but say, you know what, man, I'm not smart enough. My ACT and SAT wasn't that good. I barely made it to community college. I didn't go to college at all. This guy got a reason to share his story with the world. It's a phenomenal story. Could you share with that individual who's straddling the fence of the importance of them sharing their story with the world? Could you share that with the audience?
Yeah, just go to Barnes and Noble. I mean, you just walk around Barnes and Noble. Everybody on the shelves are not Nobel Prize winners, right? If you look at some of the best sellers, if you want to go just off the metrics, those people aren't, you know, these are people who you can just walk into a Starbucks and sit down with and have a conversation. So don't undercut your own story. Somebody's going through exactly what you're going through, but they don't have the courage to put it on paper. They need to hear your voice. So don't take yourself out of the game before we blow the whistle. All right. We got folks who was taking themselves out of the game. We haven't gotten to the coin toss, let alone the anthem. I mean, you've already said, I'm not going to be there, right? Get in the game like Coach Darren Palmer said to you. Get in the game, start writing. Step 2, get a team around you. Put yourself in a good team. Get Darren Palmer and his team to help you from editing to ideation to storage, all of that, all the way down to the finished product. So start writing and make sure you put a team around you that can help you get to the finish line.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Darren. We respect your time. Thank you so much for coming on the Author Spotlight. Once again, I knew that you was going to knock it out the park like you always do. Hey, this guy came and gave his time to us. We want to show the proper respect. So make sure that you reach out. Go to his page. Make sure you go on his website. Order the book, Calling Audible. For those of you who do not win the competition, who don't win one of the 3 books that he's giving out, make sure that you go buy it anyway. Invest in yourself. Hey, don't just buy one for you. Buy one for the members of your team. Buy some for your association. Buy for your boys and girls club that you're a part of. Hey, somebody needs this information here. Calling Audible. How many of us need to transition? Whether it's a kid that's going wayward and need to have a prodigal moment. Make sure you get that in your life and pass it on to somebody else who could be tremendously blessed by it. Once again, thank you, Darren, for coming on. I really appreciate it, my friend. But for all of you out there, make sure if you need help like Darren and you need to share your story with the world, don't hesitate to reach out to me or a member of my staff at selfpublishedletterin30days.com. And we look forward to helping you be where Darren is, where we can talk to you because you are a change agent, you are a thought leader, and you are a planet shaker, and you're sharing your story with the world. Till next time, we'll catch you. I thought I heard something. No excuses. We got the coach in the building. No excuses. No excuses. You know what I'm saying? No excuses. I thought I heard somebody say I can't do it, but that's no excuses. That's why I had to put cut it out. No excuses. Make sure you tune in 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, Sundays on DMP Enterprises on YouTube. Hey, Darren, thanks again, man. Have a good one, buddy.
Hey, Darren, thank you for having me on the Author Spotlight.
All right, man. Have a blessed one.